Brought to you by...
Hello friends, welcome back to ETF. Today, we hear it whisper things about ourselves which we did not know. Things of which we had no conception. And those whispers prove to be irresistibly fascinating. It echoes loudly within each of us, who are hollowed at our core. These whispers follow throughout every frame that follows, and reveal to us the haunting, endless tunnel that lies beneath the world we know, possibly the very one that waits for each of us in the end. So let's talk about wounds. Originating from the short novella The Invisible Filth, found in the pages of Wounds, a collection of terrifying short tales from author Nathan Balagrund. We follow a man named Will, a bartender in New Orleans. He has a great job, great friends, and a girlfriend, Carrie, who loves him. He skates across life's surface, ignoring complications and concentrating on enjoying the moment. One night at the bar, a violent brawl breaks out, which injures one of the regular customers, and causes a group of college kids to leave behind a cell phone in their haste. Will begins receiving disturbing texts and calls from the stranger's phone. While Will hopes not to get involved, Carrie begins to get lost down a rabbit hole of investigating this strange malevolence. They've discovered something unspeakable, and it's crawling slowly into the light. The characters of this film are made easily relatable and increasingly likable through the smaller and more subtle details that make them up. Some are more simple touches, such as Will wearing his keys on his belt loop. I have known tons of people that do just that. There's his whole fuck it all attitude toward pretty much everything. And the concept that he is in a long committed relationship, yet he harbors feelings for another woman, which he cannot have. These are all details that I have observed in many people that I've known throughout the years. His character is awfully flawed. He isn't perfect, and he makes huge mistakes. It's cool because many of the characters throughout this film exhibit similar flaws, making them just as relatable. Even down to the big, brutish Eric, who portrays a wildly over-the-top character, but exhibits characteristics that can be relatable, like a stubbornness to accept the help from anyone. I myself have this same problem at times. The actor who plays Will actually reminds me a bit of Dane Cook in a few ways. He carries himself in a similar fashion and has roughly the same demeanor. This film is beautifully shot, utilizing both slow, ominous, and droning camera techniques, as well as a free-flowing and hovering camera style. And it blends these two quite flawlessly in its precision editing. Each cut paces this film with a rhythmic pulse that pushes your interest from moment one and doesn't let up until its final horrific frame. I think a lot of what grabs you and holds you in for the ride is that the film utilizes a lot of very realistic situations. Yes, of course, not all the film is grounded in reality. In fact, it begins to diverge quite deeply into a labyrinth of otherworldly nightmares. Every shot is gorgeously framed, and I mean every shot, delivering beautiful cinematography even when the protagonist is left just sitting on his couch playing video games. The film features a series of hauntingly eerie dream and hallucinatory sequences that were kept so grounded in their simplicity that, for me, provided so much more fear than most of the things being shelled out across the theatrical screens these days. I've said it before, that these are the kinds of films that we should be championing. The masses are so quick to dismiss cinema as a form of entertainment that has drained itself of originality. But my argument to that is that the studios are just too afraid to take any risks on unique concepts. They are a gamble, sure, but they are a necessary risk. As much as I detest the direction that the cinematic landscape is taking in slowly attempting to phase out physical and theatrical distribution altogether, I have to give it to streaming platforms like Netflix, Hulu, and Amazon in that they are willing to take that risk, and it's glorious to see. Focusing back, there is one moment in the film that wasn't all that original. I recently finished listening to a podcast called Rabbits from Pacific Northwest Stories. It's an incredible piece of auditory storytelling, and one that I do highly recommend checking out. No, this video is not sponsored. I just happen to be a huge fan of the work that they put out. There is an element to this film that seemed to me to be lifted straight out of Rabbit's narrative and adapted to fit into Wounds. Now, given that Wounds was a published short story, it is just as likely that Rabbit's writers lifted the concept from the novella and adapted it to their needs. This didn't ruin the film for me, I just thought it was worth mentioning. The entirety of this film felt tailored, like a slow and immersive build toward the emergence of something unfathomable. For me, this played as a looming threat that dwelled deep beneath the surface of reality, threatening to break free from the depths in which it waits, and stands as a truly original piece of perfection in visual storytelling, focusing more on the characters and their troubles in life than it does on the true horrors that pose a far greater threat to them. Each moment of this film utilizes the imagery of cockroaches to help convey that lurking threat, using them as a burrowing, breeding, and infesting presence that is taking hold of each and every location throughout the narrative, growing and multiplying as the film builds toward a horrifically skin-crawling climax. Guys, if you have Hulu, I cannot recommend this film to you enough. So much so that even if you don't, I honestly recommend getting it just so you can check this one out. I'm giving Wounds an A+. If you have seen this one, please let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. This is a film that deserves to be talked about and absolutely deserves to be analyzed. If you enjoyed today's video, please feel free to let me know. It's just a quick scroll down there to that comment section below. If you're enjoying the channel more than words can describe, shoot me a thumbs up and feel free to subscribe. If you'd like to show your support even more, come find ETF on Patreon or Tippy, where every pledge and every tip brings you rewards galore. Not to mention allowing me to bring you more films to explore. But all jokes and rhymes aside, if you have any films that you would like me to check out, or that you might like to see reviewed on this channel, feel free to reach out to me here down in the comments, or over on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. And I will catch you all next time. Thanks for watching.